The Legion, the Wasteland's boogeyman, the nation that has defeated countless players ever since Old World Blues was first released. To defeat your enemy, you need to know your enemy, and these are some of the important things that you need to keep in mind before you even face them. Manpower. The Legion has manpower you never thought possible, with recruitment laws that are simply beyond compare, and the Legion will use that against you. A low technology level. While at first glance this may seem to be a good thing because you have superior equipment, remember, low tech also means a low production cost. And last time I checked, a soldier without a fancy rifle can still be killed easily with a rusty machete. The Legion has internal strife. The Legion is not as stable as it appears from the outside. But if you do not take advantage of this and someone like Lanius takes control or returns to the Legion, or even worse, if Kaiser's tumor is removed, well then you're going to have a very bad day. So how do you defeat such a superpower? Simply you need to eliminate their pros and take advantage of their cons. Now by popular vote I'm going to be playing as the NCR following the Haze path, but I need to make two things clear. Firstly, this is not an NCR Haze guide, and secondly, the tips I'm going to show you in this video can be applied by any nation. Now that that's out the way, let me show you what I've done so far. So Kimball was kicked out by Allgood, so Barger wasn't an option, but that's okay. I have less ground to protect. The Sheeran Brotherhood and the Cargo won, so I'll need to watch out for these two, as well as our good old friend Lost Hills. Thankfully, Eureka went NCR, so I'll have some support from them. I even recruited Granite to help me out. And lastly, thanks to Haze, I was able to get rid of the Complacent Hegemony and a few other debuffs. Now having an intelligence agency isn't crucial, but it can help. And if you do decide to get one, these are the things I advise that you unlock. Firstly, all of the intelligence options so that your operative can give you the best information possible. All of your defensive options to capture as many spies as you can and bring down resistance in your captured countries. Invisible ink, so again your intelligence is more accurate, and suicide pools to give them a better chance of not being discovered. And then finally, the entire branch of the cryptology department. And I suggest that you crack the code for all or as many of Kaiser's buddies as possible. Even without using the cipher, you still get a lot of passive bonuses against the Army, Navy and Air Force. Obviously you get a lot more if you reveal the intel, but then they'll know and you'll have to decrypt the cipher from the start. Now let's deal with the first thing we know about our enemy, and that is their manpower. How do you take them out? Well, you need to use the right templates, doctrines and traits. Now in all these templates you're going to notice something similar, and that is I've gone for a combat width of 20 so that I can easily reinforce my units as they fall out, and I'm trying to get as high an organization as possible. After that, I want to focus on getting my soft attack, breakthrough and piercing as high as I can, along with as many other stats as possible. So I'm going to start off with my light special forces. Going for a pure 20 width light special forces, along with some anti-tank and recon. I didn't see the need to add in any demolitions or fire team, as the soft and hard attack as well as piercing is pretty good as it is. If you wanted to take this a step further, then you could add on some power armor support for a little bit of extra armor, some logistics and chems. For power armor, I've gone for a general purpose, which I believe is best, using 20 width with one fire team and one demolitions. The soft and hard attack stats are a bit low for now, but I don't have any doctrines in place yet, so this will increase with them. If you wanted a more breakthrough, I would swap out the fire team with another demolition, or a more defensive, take out the demolition for another fire team. But this will work well on both attack and defense once I have the right doctrine. A more advanced option would be adding in again logistics and chems. And now for your bread and butter, your infantry. I've gone for a 20 width with a demolition of fire team and 2 enforcers. The enforcer armor will help bring down the massive amount of soft attack damage that Kaiser's legions like to bring along with them, as long as I've added recon, which it came with for a little bit extra defense and movement, and anti-tank to punch through the armor of their special forces and chariots. Again, this will work well on both the attack and defense. And for a more advanced option, I would add in power armor support for breakthrough and armor, logistics and chems. If you are going the mechanized route, then what I suggest is using 3 tanks with 4 mobile infantry units. This maintenance came with the NCR template and I decided to keep it. This will have a very high armor and breakthrough, which added, if you go motorized warfare, will easily smash through anything the Legion has, but is very expensive to maintain. A more advanced version would simply be adding on the logistics to help with supply over the vast areas of Arizona. Now, for those of you that like playing with the robotic army, I have included a 20 width support template here. For what I'm going to be showing is using as a defensive unit to guard my coastline, so that I can free up my more offensive units to attack. Something that's important to note is to use the CNC attachment to up their organization even higher. And when you unlock combat robots, I suggest going 4 combat and then 6 support, as this will give you a nice buff to everything we need. But even as is, I have a very high defensive rating, which will help me fend off any naval invasions that may come. And now for what doctrines to use when. If you are a beginner player, I suggest using the conventional warfare along with trooper warfare path, as this will give you a nice amount of debuffs a nice amount of buffs to hold your line until you can whittle down their manpower and wait for your opportunity to attack. If you're a more advanced player and using a more pure infantry and light infantry together, then the one I suggest you use is asymmetric warfare along with agent tactics, as this will give you the best offensive infantry you can make in Old World Blues. If you are using mechanized or tanks as your breakthrough units, then I suggest using the mechanized warfare path. But if you are using power armor, then there is no other choice except for refined warfare. I suggest using flexibility of command to boost your support units, and then choosing between purity or principle is a personal choice. For those robotic players out there, you will always have to have the industry to support your robotic army, so when choosing between quantity and quality, always go for quality. You want to make every robot that you have as best as you possibly can. If you are mixing in some special forces, normal special forces units, either light or heavy, then I suggest going direct control. But if you're going for pure robotic madness, then Wasteland Autonomy is the choice for you. And lastly, something that can be a very key factor that can be overlooked quite often is traits. Now, for my commander, I'm going to choose Pain Train and Savage Leader to give the extra breakthrough bonus and give some extra to my power armor. And then I'm going to choose Heavyweight to boost my tanks. Lastly, I'm going to use the Sneering Imperialist, so I get a terrain penalty reduction of 15% so my units can move faster. Now first division is my light special forces, so they will get sniper for extra special ops attack and defense, and with one slot left open I'm going to go for improvisation expert to get a movement bonus on land. Big Jim here is leading my tanks, so for him I'm going to go for everything that boosts my motorized. So starting off with gun nut, and then leadfoot to give a boost to my motorized infantry, and so I use less organization when I'm moving. And finally I'm going to go for Bloody Mess to boost my demolitions as well. Now, 8th Division is my power armor, so they will of course get Paint Train to boost my power armor attack, and then I'm going to go for Idiot Savant to bring down my supply consumption, since power armor uses energy cells. Grange here is also going to use power armor, so for him he has Paint Train already, so I'm going to add on the Idiot Savant as well as my improvisation expert for more movement speed. Now for my Sunflower Defense Call for my robotics, I will be adding on robotics expert simply to give my robots the best attack and defense they possibly can. So that's manpower dealt with. So let's move on to capitalizing on your greatest strengths. You'll probably have more research slots and higher tech levels, as well as the ability to construct workshops faster, but you need to use them wisely. You need to have a focused idea on what tech you want to research and when, and this rule doesn't only apply to facing the Legion. No matter in what stage of the game you're in, or what enemy you might face next, always have a clear plan of what you want to unlock next, and don't be afraid of keeping it simple. For this tutorial I'm being a bit risky by showing off different types of units and how they perform. Don't do this in your game. As I just mentioned, decide on what units you want to use and focus all of your production and recruit them on them. I could have had quite few more units if I'd done that, but this is a tutorial, so I'll have to risk it. Okay, lastly, let me talk about tactics. Firstly, if you're playing any nation that can help keep Kaiser out of New Vegas, then you need to do it. As I've said before, if Kaiser has his tumor removed, you're in for a bad day and you might need to change into some brown pants. But what else can you do? Do you remember that Air Force of yours? Well, your fighters need to be clearing the skies. Your CAS needs to be strafing their troops, and if you have bombers, they need to be pounding their workshops and supply lines day and night. And if you're using a nation with a navy, well then they need to be out there patrolling your coastline, gaining naval superiority, sinking the ships, and doing whatever they can to stop naval invasions. Now I've been doing a lot of talking so far, but as I say, the proof is in the pudding, so let's get down to it. In this scenario, it is the 1st of August 2279 and the Second Battle of Hoover Dam has just started. Now I have set up my units like this. 1st Division is set to attack through the center water crossing here, which out of the three I've always found the most easiest to go through. 2nd will go from what used to be the rapids and attack the southern part of Arizona here, and 3rd will be fighting again across here into Tucson. Originally this was going to be a naval invasion unit, but when they decided to join on with Kaiser, I was forced to guard this border as well. Granite in 10th Division is up here in the north to help defend Hoover Dam, but their main priority will be my reaction force should something unplanned happen. And then finally my robotic defense group is guarding my southern coastline here between Kaiser and Tucson for any possible naval invasions, but also to react to anything that I need happening. So now of course I'm not going to let the Mojave territories stand alone, so I'm going to join their war and start killing some legionaries. Okay, 1 month in and things are going as I expected. I have had 4 naval battles, 2 defeats and 2 losses, cutting my navy down from about 100 ships down to 46. And one problem I'm experiencing is the enemy has air superiority in Southern California. So to remedy this, I'm going to create a fighter squadron that will work as soon as they have enough here in the Southern California air zone. Then I'm already fighting off the first naval invasion here in the South Mojave. A tip for all of you: if you mouse over and hold it, it will actually tell you exactly where the naval invasion is going to happen before it takes place. To counter that, our good old friend Granite here, I pulled off Hoover Dam to help the Mojave territories retake this tile, and then they will automatically go back to Hoover Dam and continue trying to assault across there. Alright, 6 months in and not much has changed. I have just unlocked my next level of power armor. Believe it or not, 2nd Division has crossed the Colorado here twice before being pushed back. I'm busy trying to push back some guys down here in the south and am fighting off naval invasion, I think it is number 6. I've also had multiple naval battles, win some, lose some, depending how that goes. But most importantly, I am now researching my land doctrine. I've decided to go for refined warfare to boost my power armor as much as possible. Now, just to give you some knowledge as to how this war is actually going. So between the 3 nations on my side, we have 131 units. We are up against, let's call it 405. And unfortunately right now our losses are almost equal. So I need to start killing a lot more of them and lose less of my people if I'm going to be successful in this. But I know at some point I will get across this river and then the real war can start. Okay, it's the 1st of August 2280 and I have been at war now for a year. As you can see, I have finally crossed the Colorado in the north, and I have one tile down here in the south. Now you may be asking me, it's been 6 months, I've crossed the Colorado here, why am I making such slow progress? Well, even though I was able to get lucky and encircle quite a few units here at the crossings, we are still outnumbered more than 2 to 1. Casualties 21,000 on my end, 33 on theirs, so at least that's starting to look a bit better in my favor, but it's still very slow going. I've still got a lot of fighter spam in West Arizona here, so that is affecting my resupply planes. Thankfully my Navy's been doing quite well, and I haven't had any naval invasions to fight off in the last 3 or 4 months. That's good. Something I have been doing with all this lovely experience I've been gaining, though, is I have I have completed my air doctrine. I like this decisive engagement. Naval doctrine is also going quite well, over halfway, and I am doing every one of these perks here to boost my troops, because I'm using everything as much as possible. Now I have got 400 odd extra air experience there, so what I'm going to use it on is I'm actually going to boost my aircraft. I'm going to modify my monoplane first, so weapons and engine. I want to keep my reliability, I don't want that to go down, so we're going to be doing it like this. Let me see if I can add a range on if that affects anything. Okay, reliability to go down again. Let's just push reliability up to max, and then let me add here where I can. What went down there? Agility range, and it's too expensive anyways. Okay, so I'm going to boost so I get a little bit extra range, a little bit of extra, my agility actually is actually going down. Maybe if I take the weapons down, ooh, that actually looks quite good, because I get extra reliability there as well. I'm going to go for that. So, and then I'm going to start producing this. Hopefully those will hold up a bit better against these gliders that are being thrown at me like no tomorrow. I have been given away, I think it's 5 factories now for more resources, and the war continues. One thing I do want to urge all of you when you're doing this for yourself is, when you cross the Colorado, be careful like I'm trying to be. Don't try to rush across, because Kaiser will naval invade you in the back, and your troops will get cut off, and that can happen so quickly. Well, let me carry on. So it is 1st of September, 1st of February 2281, and things are starting to go a bit better, especially here down in the south. And I have finally, just as I thought my power armor was a waste of time, I've finally taken a tile here in Tucson, so things are starting to turn around there as well. I just want to mention that this Sunflower Defense Corps with the support robots have proved absolutely invaluable in guarding my coastline. They're currently fighting off naval invasion number 4 in the last 6 months, and I have some ready, because I can see here there will be another one landing in Needles sometime soon. Some other updates: I have taken my conscription up to fully funded military, just to give me a nice boost to my manpower, and I've also cored 2 states. My stability has been taking a bad knock, so something I rarely do, but I'm doing now, is I'm producing some consumer goods and prioritizing consumer technology just to get my stability up slightly at the sacrificing some research speed and some factories, but okay with that. Research wise, I have doing quite well here in infantry. I have upgraded all my support weapons, although I suspect that Kaiser's Legion or someone also has rocket launchers, because my tanks are getting absolutely slaughtered. Land Doctrine, finally making some good progress. If I wasn't doing so many different units, I think would be doing a lot more of that, and would actually be doing a lot better in this war if I was focusing on 1 unit type instead of 3. But otherwise the slog continues, and hopefully within the next 6 months I can capture Flagstaff. Okay, it's been 2 years since this war began, and unfortunately I have not been able to take Flagstaff, but I've got 2 very good reasons for that. First of all, the White Legs went Kaiser's way and has joined in the war, so that's another enemy I need to take on. And the Mojave territories got integrated into the NCR, frankly without me asking, and my biggest problem with that is the armies that they had just poofed, disappeared. No idea where they went. So that has forced me to be a bit creative. I've taken 20 of my support robot units and add them into a unit here under Drummond. I did the focus. Where is it now? Mutant integration to get the unit leader, and I'm now doing resistance suppression because obviously a hell of a lot of resistance came with that. So progress is being made, as very slowly as it may seem. I am winning slowly, but as with any war against the Legion, this unfortunately takes time. Okay, well, it's not the 1st of February 2282. Instead, it is the Fall of Flagstaff on the 28th of November. This was possible by a very nice surprise, and that would be the sleepers. The Militares Altores, I've never pronounced that properly, decided to declare war on the sleepers and called in Kaiser's Legion and all their buddies to fight against them. And the sleepers, I don't know how many units they are sucking off my front line, but it has done a massive impact. Another wonderful surprise which I was not expecting is 14th Division with my support robots. Now that they are on the back foot, they are doing quite a good job up north here in Arizona. But I think I'm going to end this tutorial here. I hope this has been enough for you to now take on Kaiser's Legion yourself and win. The only thing that you'll have to do now is just carry on grinding along. But there might be another surprise that you could get in the future, and that is one of these Mexican nations such as the Republic of Rio Grande, also declaring war on Kaiser's legion and attacking from the south. But yes, once again, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.